damage. Kits off Herring, Henderson and Timoney absentees tonight through injury. So Dave Ewers and Marcus Ray return to that Ulster forward pack, propped up by Eric O'Sullivan and Scott Wilson. Nathan Doak switching to accommodate Jake Flannery at 10 to number 9. Billy Burns and John Cooney on the Ulster bench. There's no Stuart McCluskey in that Ulster backline this evening. Jacob Stockdale and Will Addison return to the back three. 9 changes in total, 4 positional switches from that defeat to Clermont in France in the Challenge Cup 6 days ago. The Cardiff head coach Matt Skerritt makes 4 changes from the side, narrowly beaten by the champions Munster at Thomond Park 3 weeks ago. The headline selection by a distance, the return of Tulupe Falatau at number 8. The Wales Test, Centurion and Lyon hasn't played since breaking his arm against Georgia at the World Cup back in the autumn. Bevan and De Beer, 9 and 10. The centre pairing have combined equally to score 10 URC tries this season. Theo Cabango, incidentally, making his first start since a shoulder operation back in November. The visitors, interestingly, going for a 6-2 split on the bench. Mackenzie Martin and Ellis Jenkins among the pack replacements. Beautiful evening in Belfast at Kingspan Stadium. Cardiff have had almost 3 weeks off since that defeat to Munster at Thomond Park that I mentioned. The 7th straight defeat for the Welsh region in all competitions. They find themselves languishing 12th in the URC standings and realistically not really at the races for a top 8 finish and thus a place in the end of season playoffs after the regular 18-match season. Nonetheless, 8 of their 9 URC losses this season have come by 7 points or fewer, so they picked up 8 bonus points along the way, a silver lining of sorts. So here come the Ulstermen. It's been a long and fairly arduous 4 or 5 weeks on the road for this Ulster side. Back at home in Belfast for the first time since victory over the Dragons in round 11. Those back-to-back defeats in South Africa in the URC, followed by victory in Montpellier, which was to a large extent, it must be said, overshadowed by events in Clermont last week, that second half collapse. And of course a tight 6-day turnaround after shipping 7 tries and a second half performance that saw them concede 33 unanswered points. The importance of this game tonight cannot be overestimated. It's really important that Ulster bounce back now with a couple of home wins.
Yep, good to go, lads.
To secure their place in the end of season playoffs and all the knock-on fringe downstream benefits that would bring in terms of momentum into the back end of the campaign, into next season, ticket sales and European qualification. And Cardiff don't have a good record in Ireland. They've a pretty horrendous record in Belfast, so it's a big night for both sets of players. Craig Gilroy alongside me in commentary. It feels like a must-win for this Ulster side, doesn't it, Craig?
It does, yeah. Almost 7 weeks since we've seen Ulster playing here at home in Belfast. There's a buzz about tonight. The sun is shining, which isn't usual in Belfast, and yeah, it's a must-win. Luckily, we have Treviso at home next week as well.
Back-to-back home games. Ulster from touch to a shortened line-out. Alan O'Connor in that second row this evening. No Henderson, of course, he'll call the line-out. And an early shrill blast from the whistle of Mike Adamson, who is the match referee tonight, to indicate a Cardiff penalty for the player being taken out in the air.
Just a bit too much on that kick from Jake Flannery. Cam Winnett read it well. Sometimes if it's shorter, the onus is on your midfielders to turn and catch that kick. So Cam Winnett's read that well. And, you know, he's plenty of experience now, having started every game for Wales in the Six Nations and played almost every minute, I think you said, Conor, earlier. So
yeah, he's accumulated that little bank of experience pretty quickly for a player still only 21. Full 80 minutes on his return to URC duties at Thomond Park 20 days ago now. It's been a nice rest for these Cardiff players, and certainly their opening salvo in attack with ball in hand is enterprising. Jacob Stockdale back into the Ulster back three alongside the likes of Mikey Lowry and Will Addison this evening, and a much changed Ulster pack. A lot of those changes enforced, including the return of Dave Ewers, actually his first start in URC competition since the Lions game back in November. Swirling, bustling breeze around Kingspan Stadium this evening. The touchline not Cardiff's friend on that occasion, but they've dealt with it well. Tinas De Beer and Ellis Bevan, the 9 and 10, starting for the visitors from Wales tonight as they look to build on what's been a solid start with ball in hand over the opening couple of minutes. Trying to take Ulster through the phases here, attacking this blind side again. Or shaping to, and now the boot is the preferred option. The kick chasers are plenty. It's a decent kick as well. Testing one for Will Addison. Contestable that Ulster win. Timoney leading the charge. It's important for Ulster to settle into this contest pretty quickly and try and get rid of any lingering demons and scar tissue after that second half performance in France. Lots of positivity, as you would expect from the camp this week, from the likes of Mikey Lowry and Nathan Doak up for press. Roddy Grant also doing his bit in front of the media, saying it's important that we just turn down the outside noise and make it all about the rugby, if at all possible in these conditions. So much going on behind the scenes at Ulster. Doak in his much more familiar position after a stint of 3 games at fly half, back at 9 this evening. Ulster penalty.
Numbers. Time off.
Spent probably too much time in our 22 there.
He's going off for an HIA. Yeah. 15.
We're going to lose somebody to a head injury assessment. I think it's the Cardiff fullback Cam Winnett's going to be called ashore to be checked out here.
Decent box kick from Nathan Doak. I like seeing him back at 9, his preferred position. I think they were about to a couple of phases later. They'd lost Mike Lowry in that rock, so he's their primary chaser. But then when they had a phase later and Mikey was back on the wing to chase, they opted to go wide. I think if you're going to run it, Connor, from your 22, you know, it has to be on. You have to be sure.
It's interesting with a new coaching ticket of coming in post Dan McFarlane. Everyone's looking for those telltale signs of improvements and changes and tweaks under Richie Murphy. But they've had so much time on the road that I guess training time, proper paddock time to try and put new structures in place has been still quite limited.
Yeah, it's not something that's going to change overnight. You know, I'm not afraid to say a lot of damage was done under Dan McFarlane era, and I have full faith in Richie Murphy. I've already seen the players play with so much more freedom and able to express themselves. You know, put last week aside, there's no hiding from 50 points. But certainly in South Africa, the way they played with that freedom, you know, Nathan's just mistouched here, unfortunately.
Letting Cardiff off the hook, rather, from what was a decent position to get territory inside that Cardiff half of the field. Yes, but green shoots certainly in that Montpellier game, albeit the Montpellier discipline let themselves down in the second half. It was a very different story in the imposing Marcel Michelin last week. What can Ulster manufacture here just over halfway?
He's not on the ball! You just grab the body. You just grab the body.
Doak now, short pass as he looks to his inside, and his captain for the evening, Alan O'Connor, vastly experienced, of course, heading up towards 200 Ulster appearances, his 11th season. Big smashing tackle in there, and potentially that'll be looked at by the TMO, who is Andrew McMenemy tonight. All depends on Mike Adamson. Big collision involving James Hume.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's high, but it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
hits him high.
Nothing further, yeah.
But then slips off. Just a penalty, right decision. One from one, the lineouts.
Not going straight for the ground. It just looks like hands straight.
Need to get that figure up, 79%. Success rate in the league. Ulster is the worst in the league, unfortunately, so they want to improve on that. Perfect conditions tonight here in Belfast. Let's see what they have in attack.
Stewart again to that short Ulster line. Alan O'Connor, as I said, calling the shots tonight and calling that one on himself and securing good possession.
He's not lost his bind. Right, your shoulders off now, you need to get out. Shoulders are off,
long way to that Cardiff try line, even for Tom Stewart, who's helped himself to 7 tries in the ORC this season. Ben Donnell being encouraged to get back on side, in danger of swimming his way up the side of that maul.
Losing the bind. Back here.
And Ulster do get the penalty.
Losing the bind on the far side and affecting the ball.
So we'll get another look at this Ulster line-out, and that's pretty close to the corner from Nathan Doak, and he's kicked that straight out, so it's a missed touch and another errant kick. It's a big mistake, isn't it?
That is a big mistake. That is not Nathan Doak. I have never seen Nathan do anything like that since I've known him. Let alone any 10 really I've played with. I'm sure I could count on one hand the amount of times I've seen that in the team I've played in. They've really let Cardiff off the hook here.
It's been one of the problems for Ulster this season. They haven't had adequate entries into the opposition 22. They've done reasonably well when they've managed to get there, but that's a big let-off for this Cardiff side. Should have been put to the pin of their collar under pressure from that Ulster line-out. And this time the penalty at the breakdown goes the other way. And the referee's not happy about something. He just wants to talk to Alan O'Connor.
Okay, first one here, you're clearly holding the guy on the ground. Second one here, you're clearly trying to hold him on the ground. We're not going to have it. It's a penalty. The tackler is getting held in. This guy clearly held the guy on the ground, not allowing him to roll away. It's a penalty against him, no more.
Really unlike Nathan Doak, and now Cardiff have completely flipped the field from an attacking opportunity in the 22 to Cardiff's attacking opportunity and now Ulster's 22. So mistakes at this point of the season like that, it just can't happen.
That's a really good kick in terms of a riposte from Cardiff, though. So as you say, flip the field. Look at this position now for the visitors. Can they seize full advantage? Chance for Liam Belcher to hit Teddy Williams, and he does, and they play straight out the back. Cabango a long way in off his flank, and Bevan providing quick ball as Cardiff look to plunder from 6-7 metres. Oh, there's an Ulster player in there who's turned it over. I think it's Eric O'Sullivan has punched on that loose ball, and that's a big moment for Ulster. Under the pump, Cardiff looking very promising. Big moment from the prop, who's not enjoyed a good run on the side. He's come up with a big moment there. It's his first appearance since pre-Christmas in the Champions Cup game against Racing, actually, for Eric O'Sullivan.
Much better kick there from Nathan Doak. Quick reactions from Eric O'Sullivan. Quick reactions for a big man.
First start, incidentally, since November. It is a much changed team, as I said. 9 switches, which can be difficult. Cardiff now pouring forward. Great to see Faletau back in Cardiff ranks again, following that nasty injury at the World Cup. It's a long time to be lacking his services. De Beer just gets Cardiff moving forward again. Working that short side, pull it a little bit deeper this time. Bevan in position. Out the back and over the top they go from Thomas. Switches one all the way out to this near side to Theo Cabango. Gets those feet working, he's so elusive. And he hits a rather big speed bump then in midfield. Duly brought to ground just beyond halfway. Big tackle from Dave Ewers. Bevan to De Beer. Has he measured that? Well dealt with by Jacob Stockdale. That wasn't easy.
Don't move.
He kept his composure. Thumping left boot all the way down towards the Cardiff 22. Kick and chase is snaffled up by Scott Wilson. Good take by the tight head prop. A rare start in this Ulster side for him. That look forward from the hands of Will Addison, looking to release Mike Lowry, who's not heard the referee's whistle. Back we come.
The worst thing ever when you're clean through and you don't hear the whistle. But super play from Jacob Stockdale down in that right-hand corner. Good kick from Tinas De Beer. And it was risky. He flirted with that touchline, didn't he? But he kept it in and put Cardiff back down in their half. And what a take from Scotty Wilson. He can score tries. He can take high balls. For a prop, he can do everything.
Well, I was back here in round 4 in November when Scott Wilson came off the bench for his debut. 30-minute cameo. He was absolutely brilliant. The crowd took to him immediately.
He's really turned into a fan favourite and a product of the academy. Great to see.
Well, there he is, closest to us, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fares against
mind.
Corey Domachowski on that side, and equally on the other side, Eric O'Sullivan, who's bereft of game time, up against Kieran Azarazzi. Rhys Carey and Kieran Parker on the bench for Cardiff, and they're going to get a penalty here.
Not the start I would have hoped, Connor, for Ulster so far, although it is early days, but too many errors so far, and bad mistakes, not just your little knock-on. It's been quite fatal errors, and I think Will Addison's pass there, yes, it was a mile forward, but the space was there, so you know, at least he's scanning and seeing that, and there's space in the edge, and they have that desire to move it.
Five man, five.
Will Cardiff go for the maul with this penalty, with this line out?
10 metres.
A bit too far out.
Dummy maul, and they move it instead from Thomas Young, and they find space, and through goes Cabango. 12th minute of the game. Off set piece, off the line out, the little dummy maul, but they shifted it infield and found a big hole in that Ulster rearguard, and it's a pretty straightforward run in for Theo Cabango off that short inside pass. First try of the evening goes to the Welshman.
Very well taken try by Theo Cabango. The pass just sort of takes Tom Stewart out and opens up that inside ball, and he really just glides, doesn't he? Seems very, very fast.
I'm okay, just out, cheers.
First start since November. Had a 20-minute cameo against Munster nearly 3 weeks ago. Placing Owen Lane tonight. Took that try very well.
Talented, elusive, gifted runner. We know all about his pace and his footwork. Checked upstairs. The sun, a problem, a good problem for everyone this evening. Staring down straight into the eyes of Tinnis de Beer, but he makes no mistake, and that's a big 7-pointer for Cardiff. I mentioned the fact that Ulster would have been under pressure to try and start well back on home soil for the first time in 6 weeks after what happened, particularly in that second half against France. But as you say, it's been error-strewn opening 12 or 13 minutes from the home side. And that again is what that man Taulupe Faletau brings. Just get your gain line, go forward. Big, strong, simple carries.
Hold in front.
Cardiff playing the percentages, thumping one down into Ulster territory, inviting the counter from Will Addison. The first option is to sling it wide to Jacob Stockdale. In and out of this Ulster side in recent weeks. It's good counter rucking from Cardiff, making a real nuisance of the breakdown there. Doak back inside to Stewart. Progress halted by Alex Mann. It's a really strong Cardiff back row. Nice balance about it now with Faletau returning. Thomas Young an out-and-out fetcher at 7, and Alex Mann, we know all about his progress in recent months. Flannery gets his hands on it, and Postlethwaite into the fray for a carry midway inside that Cardiff half of the field. Timoney, good things normally happen when he can go through the gears. Flannery pulls it back. That's a good idea from Hume to try and bring Addison into it, but maybe a little over intricate in midfield from Ulster, but they are trying things.
Let's use.
Ball available for Bevan, and it's been knocked forward, so it'll be a Cardiff put into another scrummage.
It looked like he hit the arm.
Some better passages of play there, Connor. Super carry there from Harry Sheridan. Again on the left side, Will Addison saw the space. This time the pass was backwards. He found Jacob Stockdale.
I got a hit in the arm. Just a minute.
Made some yards up the left.
What am I going to? If I've made the
decision. Again, a few errors creeping in.
I said at the top, Cardiff
good stability
down in 12th
after the
position
set.
and probably out of the reckoning, really, in a realistic sense, for the top 8 positions at the end of the season, albeit it's extremely congested in that URC table, particularly from 5th down to 11th, where really just one win separates the likes of the Stormers in 5th and the Lions down in 11th. But We often say the table doesn't lie, but Cardiff will feel it does a little bit. They'll feel they're better than 12th position. And so many of their games this season have been very, very tight.
I'm not going to road you going round on the left. Dominant both sides, please. Don't just step on the left and go forward. Both sides straight.
Interesting little flashpoint, isn't it? Because you don't want to get on the wrong side of the referee in terms of the pictures being presented here. Already seen one scrum penalty go the way of Cardiff.
Went round left.
Absolutely not, especially not this early in the game.
Keep it square.
Big scrum from Ulster here. Try and contain Cardiff. Although we know Tinas de Beer, he likes to kick. He has the most kicking meters in the league so far, and
Crouch.
He'll want to get Cardiff out of their 22.
Bind. Set. Keep it square.
It's not square at all. There's plenty of movement, and it's down on the side right in front of Mike Adamson on the Eric O'Sullivan, Kieran Azarati side.
Let's go. Let's go.
He wants to have another look at it.
Let's keep it up. Keep it up.
In and around 95% in terms of scrummage stats. Cardiff on their own put in this season. Marginally better than Ulster.
Yeah.
93.
That's right. Ulster only fifth best at 93%. What's first best on, Connor? Do you know? Is it 100?
Getting 100%, you're going well, but there's a lot of firepower, of course, taken out of that tight five from an Ulster point of view today, not just in terms of Stephen Kitsoff, Rob Herring too. Huge acumen for scrummaging. Now then, Ulster just inside that Cardiff half of the field again. Timoney is the go-to. Flannery a little bit hesitant, as indeed was Postlethwaite, but then an ejection of pace and wizardry from Mikey Lowry, a long way in off his wing, looking for work there, and now it's onto the opposite side. Hume upended in the tackle. Solid hit. Doak, no real way through. Josh Adams in the thick of the action. Ball is not out, so it's there for the Ulster captain, Alan O'Connor. It's the tackle from Ben Thomas that dislodges the ball in the middle of all that, and Cardiff have turned it over, and they're a big team on turnover ball. It's what they thrive off. They need to get it into the hands of some of their speedsters here. Knock-on advantage is over. Again, Cardiff looking to play. Solid hit from Addison up. Big collision on Jacob Beetham that time. Ulster player, I think, on the far side of the field being attended to by the medics while play continues a long way away. Bevan will use that left boot of his to send it up into the sky. Nothing easy under this high ball, albeit the sun behind Jacob Stockdale there. He should have collected that. It's another mistake, unforced error really. Azarati, and now look at Cardiff slinging the ball all the way to the wide expanse of the field to Beetham, and he gets his pass away. Ulster scrambling back right across the pitch here. Huge appetite being demonstrated by Cardiff in the opening quarter of this game. Azarati again uses his hands. Stood upright in the tackle. They get it away to Ben Donnell. The space over the top, and Cabango didn't take a touch on the way through. And you know what? If they might have left that to Cabango, he had every opportunity to use his footwork and speed.
Some nice offloads from Cardiff.
Off, lads.
Not often you see it from your prop, Kieran Azarati. Big man Teddy Williams, I think, after him. I'd say Jacob Stockdale's quite happy to see that ball go to ground. It's not like him, you know, he'll take 9 out of 10 of those. Fortunately, you can't blame the sun, as you say, Connor. It's behind us, but another get out of jail for Ulster there.
This is where the injury came to James Hume, who's still being treated over on that far side. Thumping collision.
Well, he did right to step off the touchline, but unfortunately he stepped right into Mason Grady. What a tackle from Mason Grady. Hope James is okay. Doesn't look like he'll be continuing. Maybe it's too early to say. He's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's hurt straight away.
All good? Yeah. It's just early on, it just looked like...
Nasty collision. You see it in the grimace in the face of James Hume up against the size and power of Mason Grady.
It looked like you're trying to grab her in the head as well.
I mean, James is a big guy, you know, he's a big, powerful guy. It's not easy to put such a dominant hit on him. Just the way he stepped off the touchline into Mason Grady.
Yep.
Nice to see him being clapped off.
No, just that scrum, just make sure we're not,
It's a big loss.
They're loose, I just look like we had to.
It's been a tough week on the injury front for Richie Murphy in your picture there, so Ethan McElroy himself was a late withdrawal through illness for the game. Ulster won in France against Montpellier comes in, and let's hope that is not too serious, or at least as serious as it looks for James Hume this close to the end of the season with so many pivotal games to be played. So Cardiff have lost their fullback Cam Winnett, who's not returning, we understand, from a HIA, so Jacob Beetham will stay on, and James Hume forced off Ethan McElroy in. So we might just reshape that back line.
Yeah, that's right, exactly, yeah. It looks like Will Addison has gone to 13 in place of James Hume. Ethan on to the right wing, and then Mike Lowry into fullback, where he's more than capable. His preferred position, equally as dangerous in attack. Young Mike Lowry. Thought Ethan did very well in the last couple of weeks, you know, called off the bench. Last week in particular, after 5 minutes, I think Stuart Moore came off and Ethan came on.
Let's go. Quick reset.
Made a really good account of himself.
Just hold that load. Just nice and controlled. Hold the load.
How can Ulster adapt now after the reshuffling of this backline?
Crouch.
As we said, 9 changes, but also 4 positional switches, so we're up to half a dozen or more in the space of a 6-day turnaround from what we saw in France. Having to juggle the deck here, play on the hoof a little bit. It's been a fairly ordinary start to proceedings in the opening quarter of this game, it must be said, from an Ulster point of view. Just that Theo Cabango try for Cardiff, a well-taken try off line-out possession. Good contest and sorted out by Liam Belcher. Tinis De Beer gets it into the hands of Jacob Beetham, who dinks one over the top, and the points went against him. Doak snaffles it up now. He's got options to his left-hand side. Look for that short runner on his inside. I think it was Tom Stewart, who was just a fraction late arriving. Postlethwaite there in close attendance as well. Doak once more. Flannery surveying the options. Rolls the dice to Addison, who takes it on the full and kicks it out on the full. I think, as you alluded to with that play from the forward pass just outside the 22, Ulster are trying things, maybe pushing a little bit too hard to try and unlock this Cardiff defence at times.
Trying a bit too hard, yeah. Maybe take an extra phase. Get into position. Stuff you work on in training. Do the work early. Get into position early. Get the communication up. Call something. Call it early. Organise the guys outside you. That being said, Cardiff so far in this first 20 minutes have defensively been quite well structured, and anything Ulster have thrown at them, they've dealt with quite well, or else Ulster have turned it over. Interestingly, on Cardiff's box kicks, Theo Cabango just cooled his jets and didn't go up, didn't chase to get up the challenge in the air, looked around to connect with his team, whereas that's a big strength for Ulster on the box kicks. Get the wingers up. Jacob Stockdale, Ethan McElroy, get up and contest in the air.
You okay?
Anxious moments here for Nathan Doak as he just received some treatment to that left hamstring area.
Back on. Space.
Can ill afford to lose further resources here, but he's okay for the moment at least. Belcher all the way to the tail and over the top and in the hands ultimately of Stewart, who gets his pass away to Flannery. Shows a good turn of pace, turn of foot. Nice little switch of direction too, waiting for the support to arrive, but prime position this for Ulster to strike. They kick away possession, the chase is on defensively, and Beetham did his job.
Good cover from Beetham in behind. I was a bit confused as to why Jude kicked that away initially. There was a bit of space. Just didn't get the bounce, turned in a little bit instead of going out the left to Stockdale's wing. The bounce had been a bit luckier. Jacob could have been in.
Tackle.
A little better from Ulster, galvanised by that line break from their fly half Jake Flannery, and now Stockdale away in off his wing into the thick of the battle. Ethan McElroy, the player, tackled just outside the Cardiff 22. Flannery now hit by Teddy Williams. Eric O'Sullivan takes it on. Doak once more. Mikey Lowry standing in at first and second receiver. Ulster changing the picture in front of that Cardiff defence. Marcus Ray setting up the latest possession. There's another little handling error, and they're proving costly. An initial knock on from an Ulster hand put into the Cardiff scrum yet again.
Oh, another error. We can't even blame the conditions.
Okay, let's go, lads.
Yeah, you seldom see them as favourable as they are tonight, so certainly that excuse has been taken away from Ulster.
Just having not too much load.
Difficult to build any momentum through phases when there's handling errors like this.
I don't know if the guys are feeling the pressure tonight. They should be a bit more relaxed. Playing at home, home crowd, home advantage. These are the games you love. I used to love the home games. Not packed out tonight, but it's a decent crowd tonight. Perfect conditions.
Bind.
I feel like they just need to take a deep breath and relax.
Set.
Well, a scrum penalty. That Ulster front row can't afford to relax right now. They're under a little bit of concerted pressure now from this Cardiff tight five.
Yeah, Eric O'Sullivan's having a bit of a word there with Mike Adamson, but he knows he's not going to change his mind.
A certain tangible air of anxiety around the Kingspan Stadium from what is a good crowd, as Craig says, and it feels like the crowd are a little bit quiet, but they're looking to get involved in and that's got to come from the players from what they see on the field. They haven't had a chance to cheer anything really yet.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think if the players give them a little something, the crowd will get behind them, and speaking from experience, it certainly helps.
Belcher takes a little bit off that one, and Cardiff get decent possession. De Beer kicks it away then over the top. Mikey Lowry now. The crowd get involved every time he's on the ball, and that's why he's so dynamic. From one wing now to the other. Lowry to Stockdale. Doak, quicker ball. Flannery. Addison now stepping in. That was a little bit muddled as well. Harry Sheridan just not quite on the same page. Ulster avoid the knock on. Allowing play to continue. Just trying to find their rhythm now. Flannery pops one short. Postlethwaite, and back they come this time to Dave Ewers. A little bit more orthodox by the former Exeter man. Looks to suck in a couple of defenders. Flannery had a couple of half breaks as well. Got his hands free there for the offload. There was no real support line on the inside. McElroy once more. Private tussle between the two number twos off the ball, and Flannery now takes it flat to that line again. Short pass, Doak. Cardiff up quickly to cut down that passing channel. There was space out there. Better from Ulster, and just when I say that, it becomes a little bit scrappy and difficult for David McCann to shore up possession off that loose ball. Set to go again with Sheridan. Flannery into Stewart. Out quickly was Alex Mann from that Cardiff defensive line. Ulster get the penalty, and then there's a little bit of a flare-up between McCann and Alex Mann. And as quickly as it flares up, it dies down again. Ulster get the penalty after a decent spell of continuity.
Yeah, they did well to keep the ball for so many phases there. A nice little injection of pace from Mike Lowry. We know Cardiff kick the most of any team in the league. Ulster have obviously done their homework, and they're positioning themselves well, and it's a great opportunity when a team kicks.
I've not seen it.
and they're on the front foot and they're attacking. If that ball's turned over quickly or that kick doesn't go to plan, their defence is usually dishevelled. And Mike Lowry, who better to get the ball in broken space?
Yeah. Timo said you give him a wee dig with your shoulder. And it would have been a penalty against you. It would have been a penalty against you.
I think Nathan might think the points are easier than kicking to the corner again.
Got to get that scoreboard working, ticking over, eat into the 7-point deficit. Get some payback for territorial advantage over the last 5 minutes or so. Well within his range on a relatively calm night at Ravenhill, and the first points on the board for Ulster have taken 28 minutes to arrive, but they're on the board.
That's right, they're on the board and that's all that matters. It's not a try, it's 3, but we'll take it. Hopefully we can build on this.
Last 3 games at number 10. It can't be easy, of course. Multi-talented player though he is, Nathan Doak, to be back at number 9. So much conjecture as to the merits of flipping between 9 and 10.
Yeah, it's super to see him back at 9. I think that's his best position. That's the position I want to see him playing.
He has to be a little bit diplomatic every time he's asked about it. He's just happy to play in an Ulster shirt, and of course there's merit in that. Billy Burns back on the bench. That ball is live and available for Dave Ewers, who puts his big paws on it and turns it over for Ulster, and in goes Marcus Ray to try and set something up from just outside the Ulster 22.
Good space found by Addison.
Straight down the middle was the option, and a return kick back to where it came from. On the bounce, Addison's kick is snaffled up by the imposing 6'7" frame of Ben Donald, and that's an errant kick this time from a Cardiff boot.
I think that came off Will's shin there. It came off him ugly. Not a nice bounce. Another bit of a get out. I think that's 2 or 3 times now we've coughed the ball up, and Cardiff have kicked it out in the full and luckily given it back to us.
Time's off. Just a lot of stoppages.
That is not a sight that anyone wants to see.
That's okay.
Straight away, they're going to wrap up that left arm in his shirt. Absolutely, Faletau's short-lived return to Cardiff colours. That's hugely disappointing, gut-wrenching in fact, for a player of his calibre to come back from a broken arm and have your return to action last less than 30 minutes.
It's really devastating as a player to work so hard, do all the background stuff to come back for a game, and not even last 30 minutes. But I thought some of his carries were really good tonight to look by Faletau. Mackenzie Martin in to replace him.
20-year-old, 13 years, Faletau's junior. Another of these Cardiff and Welsh players who's on a steep learning curve in terms of minutes, both at test level and at this level. What's the option here for Doak? You could see 2 or 3 times he was wondering, should he back himself to sling the long pass wide to Lowry. Eventually he did.
No.
Ulster needs someone in there as an auxiliary scrum half, and better late than never it arrives. Sheridan and McCann both in there, and Ulster on the front foot here. Nathan Doak, meanwhile, is down out of picture. He's not available in this Ulster backline for now, as Harry Sheridan is there. Marcus Ray on his shoulder, Eric O'Sullivan, all hands to the pump, as it is defensively too from a Cardiff point of view. Crowd do get involved. Penalty advantage in from the side, the decision. Mike Adamson might just want to have a little word with Liam Belcher potentially. I think it's against Thomas Young.
Number 7, not back foot.
Very positive carry from Jude Postlethwaite to start that off. In place of Big Stu McCluskey, who is at home resting, tired after all his bickering online with Stephen Ferris. A well-deserved week off for Big Stu, who's had a He's had a super year with Ireland
Finds the middle.
and with Ulster.
Finds the middle.
He certainly has.
Get the timing,
Stephen
lads.
Ferris
Get the
said,
timing, wait till they're down.
the low end with
Make sure
smiles
there's
and
access to
handshakes.
the ball carrier, don't go in behind.
Everybody pulling in the same
you got
direction,
7.
ultimately, I think.
6 man.
I wouldn't want to be the one fighting either of those boys, Conor.
Receivers at
Wouldn't
the
get in
front.
between them, that's for sure. So Ulster with that penalty now come in search of 5 or 7. That's an absolutely brilliant take at the tail from Marcus Ray, and then there was a Cardiff foot in there as Tom Stewart tried to pick it up, and as a result he's knocked it forward and it'll be put into a Cardiff scrum, and it's another big let off. It's another error that just needs to be tidied up. Prime position.
Prime position there. Real missed opportunity. Just seeing mistakes from guys I don't normally see mistakes from. You know, how many times have we seen Tom Stewart pick off the back of a ruck, the back of a maul, score a try, make meters?
Penalty for getting chucked across.
Nathan Doak earlier on in the game.
Penalty for throwing across.
Too many mistakes, but
It's going to be a penalty for throwing across.
It's an Ulster penalty.
It's
There was
dangerous,
a Cardiff
it's liable
lifter
something.
thrown across the line, and
It's a penalty thrown across.
Ulster might yet get something from this. I was being a little bit generous to Tom
Line
Stewart.
out.
There wasn't really a Cardiff boot in there. I thought there might have
Penalty
been. He
thrown
just
across,
knocked it
line
on.
out chosen.
He's going to get an opportunity to make amends here. Tap
Was that
penalty, I
enough?
think, is the option.
Line out chosen, yeah.
Try something different.
Line out. You've chosen the line out. You've chosen the line out. You don't.
Some
you-
confusion.
you
Did they call line out?
Line out's chosen.
Mike Adamson says they did.
And
So
the
they
ball
have to
was,
kick
yeah.
it now.
Yeah, the ball was in the hands of Tom Stewart. He was thinking tap penalty. Now they're thinking otherwise. McCann this time was the target. Good variation. Dave Ewers, can he get it down? There's a phalanx of Cardiff bodies underneath him that say no. Held up.
Held up, goal line drop out.
Goal line dropout. It's another big opportunity for Ulster to turn the screw.
Good carry from Ewers. Just nearly there. Just needed that little bit more from him. Maybe a couple of guys in behind. Eric O'Sullivan, Marcus Ray jumping in behind him. But didn't Cardiff do well to just dive all over that?
They certainly did. Ben Thomas and Tinas De Beer, principal among those, to get themselves underneath big Dave Ewers. It's one of those where if you had the time back, you'd recoil and come short of the line and set up the possession again. Ewers again, trying to make some headway. Sheridan back in the second row tonight, having played the full 80 at number 6 in Clermont last week at the Marcel Michelin. Quicker ball for Doak this, and Flannery.
Advantage. 6 arms.
Penalty advantage against Alex Mann. And Ulster cough up possession. Now what's the option here? 7
Number
points
6.
to 3. A little word in the ear of the blindside flanker for Cardiff, Alex Mann.
Yeah, no arms from Alex Mann there. It's not often you see a big man like Harry
That's your
Sheridan go
second one for
head
no
over
attempt
heels.
to wrap. You're going to your knee and you're not attempting to wrap. You must stay on your feet and attempt a legal tackle. That's the second one. He must not go to the knee and just stick an arm out. He must stay on his feet and wrap. That's all he gets him.
It's a stern warning and sounds like a final warning. Absolutely no question whatsoever.
Time
a lot
off.
of conjecture as to what Ulster's course of action here is. You would suspect a shot at the posts is the wise outcome.
Just have to go time on now.
Yeah, I would
We'll just
agree.
go time
Keep
on
that
now.
scoreboard ticking over. Maybe get another one after this, going into half-time ahead. Been very impressed with Harry Sheridan tonight. I think he's carried very, very well. Prospect of Sullivan upper.
Still
6.
only 22, and he's getting better with every game. I think that's just a case of having the wind taken out of your sails for Jake Flannery. I think that expression from Richie Murphy says a lot about this Ulster performance in the opening 35 minutes. I agree with you. If they can get in at 7 points to 6, or maybe tag on a further penalty, it'll be a pretty good outcome from what's been a very patchy opening half rugby from the home side in particular. Good strike from Nathan Doak. splits the uprights and reduces it to a 1-point game as we tick into the final 5 minutes of the regulation 14 Belfast.
Good kick from Nathan. I know it was relatively straightforward in front of the post, but still seems to be a sort of pressure about tonight with the guys, and still haven't seemed to fully relax.
It's worth remembering at this point that while there's huge importance attached to this game, particularly from an Ulster point of view, we are looking at two sides. Cardiff, for example, who've lost 7 straight games on the bounce, and an Ulster side who've lost 6 of the last 8, and both teams bereft of confidence really to a point.
Yeah, and we were saying earlier, Cardiff haven't won here in their last 10 visits to Belfast, and I don't think they will tonight. That being said, I know it's a shaky start from Ulster, a shaky first half, but I've no doubt they'll get the job done.
Okay, 3, back round.
Untidy, scrappy at times, contest for the ball. First time of the evening, really, we've mentioned in dispatches the name of Josh Adams and his 58 Wells caps on that wing. Such an important player. He's been starved of possession, and that ploy to get the ball to Tinas de Beer and kick it downfield out of harm's way continues. No team kicks more than Cardiff, and de Beer in particular. Good field by Lowry.
Okay, 9, use it.
Doak wants a little further protection before he swings his right boot at it. Sets off Ethan McElroy in chase. Not a huge amount of ground gained on that. Last touch off a Cardiff player, it looked from this vantage point.
Off the shoulder, Cardiff ball.
Yeah, it's a Cardiff ball, in fact.
Off the shoulder. Just off now. Off shoulder.
Bit of a miss kick from Nathan. Probably didn't go as far as he would have wanted it to there. Ethan McElroy still got up and challenged. Didn't Mike Lowry take that high ball well a couple of phases earlier? For a small man, he does get up in the air.
And he's so often in that back through the touch paper for forward momentum from an Ulster point of view. They've had precious little of it this evening so far. Cardiff trying to work something off that little pod in midfield. Back it goes from Bevan to De Beer again. Rinse and repeat formula. Phase, maybe 2 phases at most, and then kick it down beyond the Ulster 10-metre line, and there is the aforementioned little bit of spark from Mike Lowry, who does look sharp this evening. Nathan Doak was just bundled off the ball there. Did well actually not to knock that on. Nothing illegal from the counter-rucking from Cardiff in the eyes of Mike Adamson, and symptomatic of the Ulster performance in the opening 38 minutes. There's another handling error. It is the Achilles heel of this side.
Not what we need, another handling error from Jude Postlethwaite there after his good carry.
Okay, let's go.
Not too long ago. Still such a young man.
Hold the load on the bound.
And a big guy.
Cardiff, let's go, please.
Not too much in it between him and Stuart McCluskey.
Yeah, let's go.
Jude makes me feel old. Anytime I saw him around the training sheds or in the gym, I'd always burst out "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, and he didn't seem to know what that was. And that's when you know, Connor, it's maybe time to hang up the boots.
I was going to say he's probably heard that a few times, but he's so young, maybe it's even lost on him. Only 22, 6'4", big frame, has all the raw material, certainly.
Crouch. Bind.
He did so well against the Bulls back at the start of the season, and typical Dan McFarland, and you just don't see him again. So needs to string a few more games together.
Mackenzie Martin off the base of that Cardiff scrummage into the hands of Mason Grady, and Ulster deal with him pretty quickly this time. Such a dangerous, dynamic ball carrier, using that ballast that he brings. Ellis Bevan enjoying a good run in this Cardiff team. 5th start in a row in this competition. Thomas Williams, of course, off to pastures new at the end of the season. Heading for Gloucester. Callum Sheedy coming into the Cardiff ranks in the summer. Thomas, almost like a dual playmaker, and at number 12 he's a lovely accomplished ball player, all-rounded footballer. Bevan, it's good service again. This time they mix it up to beat them. Clock's gone red. We're over the 40 minutes. That 1 point advantage for Cardiff as they try the little grubber kick through. Finishing the half strongly here. They'd love a penalty. Roll the dice or kick the three potentially to show for their efforts. Get it off is the cry. Wise advice perhaps if McElroy can get the ball back.
Back foot, Cardiff.
Reconsider their options at half-time. It's been a pretty frantic and frenetic opening 40 minutes, riddled with mistakes, and took Ulster a long time to get going in the game. Cardiff hit the front after only 12 minutes. A well-taken try, well-worked try off the line-out. Finished by Theo Cabango, converted by Tinas de Beer. A couple of Nathan Doak penalties, the sum effort of Ulster's opening 40 minutes here. So in they go for some wise counsel from Richie Murphy and Matt Skerritt, as Josh Adams and Jacob Stockdale debate what they've seen in the opening 40 minutes. It's the visitors who lead in Belfast at half-time. It's Ulster 6, Cardiff 7. Welcome back then, all set for the second 40 minutes, and you felt like Ulster might have to change something in this second half, and they've gone to the bench in the shape of Billy Burns to try and affect that change in the opening part of this second 40 minutes, which is of huge significance and importance to Ulster in particular in pursuit of that top 8 finish in the URC. Two back-to-back really important home games. First home game under interim head coach, remember, Richie Murphy, and in the opening 40 minutes it didn't go Ulster's way. 1 point in arrears as they turn around for the second 40, and the onus now on the experience of Billy Burns, who of course is exiting stage left at the end of this season, making his way south to Munster. But can he put some shape on this Ulster attack, and can they start this opening 5 or 10 minutes of the third quarter better than they did the first? It was Cardiff who controlled the opening 10 or 15 minutes. And then, as the guys were saying in studio, their own ill discipline at times allowing Ulster access into the game, but it was a rather reticent, dog-eared performance from the Ulstermen in the opening 40 minutes. A lot of mistakes, handling errors, no real rhythm or tempo about their game.
And away.
First touch there for Burns, and it was a little bit of a unsympathetic pass back to him, and that allowed the Cardiff kicker chasers to get through and charge down that would-be clearance kick from Billy Burns. So Cardiff on the front foot from an Ulster mistake again. Said that quite a few times in the opening half. And they've attacked well, they varied their attack, they've used their props extremely well. That time it was Corey Domachowski. And there's that little decoy move in midfield, the pull pass from Ben Thomas. Tinas de Beer now sizes up his options, and Mackenzie Martin so often in terms of go forward is a good one. Makes a yard through the contact, and Cardiff continue to retain possession. Take Ulster through the phases, and now Ulster come out of that defensive line with Will Addison. Doesn't quite stick his man, and opportunity or a half chance for Josh Adams. Often that's all he needs. The pass is okay, and Cabango needs no second invitation. Through he goes. Nobody can lay a glove on Theo Cabango. And having scored Cardiff's first try 12 minutes into the first half, he's off and running inside 3 of the restart. A big moment in the game and a brilliant finish.
What a pass from Ben Thomas, taking out 2 guys, hitting Theo Cabango, and this guy is lightning. I don't think Jacob was even touching him there in a game of touch. He's taken that very, very well. Just backed himself, backed his pace.
It's on the red, it's the red.
No doubt Tinas de Beer will convert this. Not good for Ulster.
Yeah, just here.
Take them to a 14-6 lead. Just touching on Billy Burns, what you were saying, it's great to see him on the pitch. I think he is by far the best 10 at the club. I think it's a big loss, big shame that we're losing him. I think we should use him as best we can while we still have him. I think Nathan Doak's best position is 9. He's a super 9, and he's got a bright future ahead of him at 9. You know, John Cooney can't play forever. I hope to see something from Ulster's attack now with Billy Burns in. Get the attack firing and get some points on the board, because it seems to be all Cardiff, certainly in this second half.
So the game plan from a Cardiff point of view, pretty simple. Get the ball into the hands of Theo Cabango as often as you can. Yeah.
Get the ball to Craig Gilroy.
They find themselves in a bit of a hole here.
Okay, use it.
Huge importance attached to this game. And all the right noises coming out of the Ulster camp this week from the likes of Mike Lowry in particular, saying, look, it's only these small margins that often decide games, and Ulster not that far away. Well, I think the frank admission after 44 minutes here is that this Ulster side look a long way off where they need to be. They've got to rectify it pretty quickly. Cut open again for that Cabango try. It wasn't the best of efforts defensively. They were a little bit porous, a little bit soft. Urgency now required. Postlethwaite from that little pass from Billy Burns. Further experience in the likes of John Cooney and Andy Warwick, John Andrew on the bench as well. Cooney in particular could be seen to play a role this evening if Ulster to get themselves back into the contest. A long time since Cardiff won a game against any of the Irish provinces on Irish soil, and 14 years since they won here. There's another little instance where perhaps Ulster maybe just trying to force that offload one too many, and on the counter-attack Cardiff now playing with real abandon. They've come to Belfast tonight to play and to put it up to this Ulster side. And Ulster survived through a penalty, but there was a real opportunity there from deep for Cardiff again.
Conor, what a tackle from Will Addison on that far side. Had he not made that, Theo Cabango was away again. We have already seen twice how quick he is. Will's already got his head taped, you know, he's feeling it tonight. He's been battered and bruised already, and he's made a crucial tackle. And Ulster have the penalty. Super line from Harry Sheridan. It's kind of an offload to nothing. If you just held on to that, you know, that'll come with the experience. Just know when to throw those offloads, know when to carry. Because as we saw, that offload to nothing almost turned into a 60-metre try.
And it's the gamble of risk and reward. When is the right time to tailor your approach ever so slightly? Addison again heavily involved. Nice bit of disguise there from Doak. Switch back inside towards Tom Stewart, and now they go to that right-hand side. Taken on by Sheridan again. He's carried well in that Ulster shirt this evening from that lock-forward position. Reorganising just a little bit more sprightly now in that instance from Billy Burns. There was options both left and right. Cardiff, though, have made a great job of turning over ball all season. It's pretty much their badge of honour in defence. It's what they thrive on. It's been the case for quite a few seasons now. You go through so many of those back row poachers that they've had. Taken on by twice capped Welsh, second row Teddy Williams.
Okay, 9, use it.
Bevan taking his time, controlling things, sensing that Ulster may be just in the ascendancy. There's another one of those knock-ons. And it'll be kicked away by the Cardiff scrum half, but look at that for a kick. That's a brilliant effort from the number 9, and it puts Postlethwaite in a little bit of a hole there. He needs assistance, and he gets it from David McCann.
It's outside. It's outside.
Ulster scrambling back to get support there in the nick of time. It was a measured kick from Bevan.
It's carried back.
Straight to touch is not an option here for Doak. Kick chase this time led by Tom Stewart. And this time they keep ball in hand, so mixing it up on Josh Adams. Just a handoff on Billy Burns, and primed for the intercept was Jacob Stockdale, and it's going straight to the pocket for Mike Adamson. Line break denied by a deliberate knock-on is the immediate ruling.
I was just checking, we're seeing the same thing.
Or are we going to check it upstairs with Andrew McMenemy? There was a A flash of yellow there to the pocket for Mike Adamson. Now he's going to slow everything down a little bit and check upstairs.
He was very quick to get the yellow out, wasn't he? But Jacob, we've seen him do that many times before.
He blocks it.
Doesn't help his case with the one hand reaching out.
Line break opportunity.
But from up here, it looked like he wasn't far off catching that. And there was nobody catching him.
But the decision is, it denied Cardiff a certain line break. And to the letter, that is a yellow. And it's a big moment in this game again for Ulster that doesn't go their way. They'll say that's a marginal decision, but it's down to 14 for 10 minutes and a huge opportunity now for the visitors, Cardiff.
It's a nice carry from Josh Adams and just squared up right before the contact.
Felt like Ulster needed that pinch ball. That's a brilliant get from Sheridan, I think it was, who rose highest.
Use it! Yeah, onside here.
Ulster under pressure now to manage these minutes down to 14. That numerical disadvantage. Josh Adams very cool and collected under that high ball, almost lazily onto it. De Beer. There's an energy about this Cardiff performance. A little bit high potentially there from Billy Burns, gets away with it, nothing doing from the officials, and the kick is fractionally long.
Finally a little bit of luck, something good in the second half for Ulster. Not a bad attacking line-out opportunity, although we'd prefer to do it with 15 men.
There you go. That's for you. Yep.
You know, what's a good outcome for these next 9.5 minutes with 14 men.
Cardiff, please.
We still need to get points on the board, but we also want to contain Cardiff. We want to stop them scoring, stop them getting into our red zone.
Ulster initially make a good fist of the line-out, taken the ground then by Dave Ewers. Again, there's just a second's indecision at the pace of that ruck.
Yeah, it's a maul.
That's a choke tackle, and now the maul is called. Cardiff are going to get the ball back here if it's not playable. That's a good result for the Welsh region. So Andrew Warwick and Tom O'Toole are going to freshen things up in that Ulster front row.
Ulster 1 and 3.
Mackenzie Martin's
Cardiff number 1.
Done so well since he's come on for Talope Falatoi. He's had some really good carries and just holding up Dave McCann there as well.
Okay, here's a mark.
Big strong boy, Mackenzie Martin.
He certainly is already 3 Welsh caps to his name. Still only 20 years of old, and
just good stability,
off goes Scott Wilson along with Eric O'Sullivan.
Yeah, I said that.
Confirmation of those replacements in that Ulster front row. Just a second start of the season, by the way, for Scott Wilson, when it lasts 52 minutes. A try away in France against Montpellier for the tight head.
Tom O'Toole on, yet to miss a tackle in this season's URC. 62 out of 62, isn't that impressive?
It certainly is. Take that.
Not a stat that I had, Conor, when I was playing, unfortunately.
And Cardiff possession once more.
9, use it. Get onside, Ulster.
They'll be happy with what they have at the moment, but not happy to hold that. They'll look to try and seize the initiative with Jacob Stockdale in the bin. Good contest again. Mike Lowry has dealt well with the high ball. Billy Burns. Very tight to that touchline over on the far side. Did that go forward off a Cardiff hand? Somehow managed to stay in field on the bounce of the ball, and potentially a little unorthodox opportunity for Ulster here now. O'Toole straight into the action. Ulster needs some energy. Harry Sheridan so far has been the guy who most likely is going to provide it. Postlethwaite this time gets it away to Addison out of the low. Back of the hand to Marcus Ray, and a good shift to the feet.
Advantage.
Ball lost again in contact. They just haven't protected it adequately.
Advantage over.
And the opportunity is there. Cardiff certainly quite happy to take risks.
Okay, Cardiff, use it.
A little bit of activity over on that Cardiff bench.
Okay,
it looks as though they're going to make a change at scrum half as well. Looks like Gonzalo Bertrano is ready to come in for Ellis Bevan, you would expect. Lowry again. A little bit of time this occasion to get a good leap forward. Thumped in the tackle by Belcher, and now it's the Ulster number 2, Tom Stewart, looking to ricochet off a couple of shoulders. They've turned it over again, Cardiff. Too many times they've coughed up possession, Ulster, in situations like that. Grady. Oh, he's done well to get beyond the first would-be Ulster tackler. Then he's a little bit unlucky with the offload.
Very unlucky with the offload. My goodness, Theo Cabango's looked very, very dangerous tonight, and that's similar to Will Addison's tackle on the far side. Just stopping him, getting his hands on the ball, and any open space, he's going to really penalise us.
So there is that switch. The switch too on the Ulster side. We flagged a few moments ago, likely to happen sooner rather than later. John Cooney is in. So Nathan Doak is off.
John Cooney and Billy Burns, no strangers as a half-back pairing with each other.
We spoke about all the switches, 9 in total, and maybe half a dozen. Also the on-field injury to James Hume didn't help, but
okay,
that continuity and the experience of John Cooney. Seasoned campaigners, can they turn this around from an Ulster point of view? It doesn't quite feel like it in the stadium, but it's almost season on the line kind of stuff for Ulster here.
Back foot. Enough. Use it.
Bertrand sends it skyward. A good watch by McElroy. Cooney now to Burns, and a little bit deeper out the back this time. Sheridan uses his power well to get himself out of a tricky situation there, immediately enveloped by 2 Cardiff players. Once again, brilliant carry. Burns, Addison. Thumping collision again. It's the Cardiff player who's come off second best. This is better from an Ulster point of view. Tom Stewart looked to sling that pass to Postlethwaite on his outside. McCann was poised in the wide channel as well. Cardiff player off his feet, playing the ball on the ground. Cooney didn't get his hands on it. Penalty advantage. Ulster with 14, looking to seize the initiative and take the advantage. And that was quite cynical on the floor. Frustrating from an Ulster point of view, and they await the reintroduction of Jacob Stockdale.
Frustrating, yes, but you can also see the attack already with Billy Burns. It's just sharpened up those little bit of details. Those guys getting into position early, not overrunning, not too flat, not too deep. Starting to show a little bit more in attack, and that's with 14 men, so hopefully get Jacob Stockdale back on here and get some points on the board, because we're approaching that 60-minute mark. Liam Belcher, he's been impressive tonight. Captain released by Cardiff in 2017, and then re-signed, and wasn't really getting a look in, and now he's a regular starter and captain. It's an inspiration. 15th start this season. I think he's only missed 1 game in the URC. As we look at Ellis Jenkins, who we understand is going to come in very shortly for Alex Mann in that Cardiff back row. Straightforward 3 points
wonder what the indication from Richie Murphy is here, if it's coming from on high or if the on-field decision is to pop this in the corner and look for 5 or 7.
I think I heard Billy Burns saying go to corner.
Number 6, change 6. What's that?
I mean, scored so many maul tries these last couple of seasons, and I know it's not very exciting. It wasn't very exciting when I was in the wing. It's not that exciting for the fans, but
just about a minute.
In a position like we are now, behind 14-6,
I think they go to the corner.
It's a good opportunity.
Absolutely.
They've not signalled posts. But yeah, we're going corner. Okay, we're good.
Plenty of seasoned wingers with try envy for hookers these days. When you look at some of the stats, Tom Stewart in particular, 8 tries this season, 7 in the URC.
Akker van der Merwe as well, leading.
Yeah.
I think he's second now. Kyle Rowe, finally, a back, has taken the first spot of the top try scorer of the season so far.
Stay 10 metres.
That's what you want to see, isn't it? You want to see more exciting, more expansive rugby.
Ulster trying a little bit of variation there, not entirely different to what Cardiff scored off through Theo Kobango in that first half. The ball didn't go forward. It looked like it might have done. In any case, it was a little inaccuracy again from Ulster that just stalled their momentum, but now they're moving forward again. Approaching the end of the third quarter, still down to 14. Looking to score one against the numbers. Off that line out, trying to get the likes of Alan O'Connor involved. Didn't go for it, didn't want to be held up, and they've got it over the line. Good work from Mike Adamson to get himself into position to adjudicate the Ulster try. Huge moment in the game for Richie Murphy's side, and they found their way to the try line through a little bit of brawn and ballast on the try for David McCann in the end.
Lovely carry from Al O'Connor just before that, and then Dave McCann jumping in to get the try. He's had a fantastic season, Dave McCann, he really has. Strange to think he was playing centre at school for RBAI. I'll not talk too much about RBAI, but he played centre in school anyway. But he's having a fantastic season. Player of the match against Montpellier, and another one who's a bright future with Ulster.
He's played so much rugby this season. I think 10 times he's finished out the full 80 minutes. That's his 5th try of the season. Got one in France against Montpellier, and actually scored 2 the last time Ulster were here at home in the URC against the Dragons.
An easy conversion by John Cooney, and if you didn't see it here tonight, folks, you'll see it on his Instagram page, John Cooney Kicking Coach, if you missed it.
Well, I loved your confidence about 20 minutes ago, or just after the restart of the second half, where you said, look, you don't expect Ulster to lose and they'll turn it around. They're beginning to do that, and maybe it's the introduction of John Cooney and Billy Burns and that little bit of established connection and experience back there, but it's back to a 1-point game where we are at half-time.
I'll not lie, Conor, I was starting to sweat a little bit, but I have all the faith. So it was brazen false bravado, but it's coming through a multitude of comedy of errors in there, handling errors. Sometimes when teams box pick, and Ulster are so good at it, and you get your wingers up to challenge. If it's not going to be a clean catch, the guys are always taught around them to expect those balls to come back. You'll see some wingers jump up with one hand and try and tap it back onto their side, and I think that just came in too quick for Tom O'Toole. But certainly the momentum has changed a little bit in Ulster's favour. As you say, just a point in it. Big defensive set now from them.
Crouch.
Massive 20 minutes. 2 teams who historically, over the course, even in recent history of this season, have tended to fade out of games. Ulster in particular, it's been a problem for them. Cardiff, as we said so many times this season, have found themselves in this kind of position and have almost seemed a little bit too happy to take a losing bonus point. 9 defeats, 8 losing bonus points, so within 7 so many times. It's worth a couple of wins to them in terms of the table. Feels like they're only ever really one brilliant try away from a huge scalp. Nearly got one at Thomond Park 3 weeks ago. Still finding themselves in position to get a first win here in 14 years.
Another good carry from Mackenzie Martin there.
Another good tackle this time on Josh Adams, coming in from Ethan McElroy. And it's Ulster's physicality and energy around the contact area that brings the mistake.
Good work from Ulster in defence. They were patient there. Cardiff were going through the phases, but just didn't seem to be breaking them down. If there's any area that concerns me a little bit, it's just that left-hand side, Ulster's right-hand side. Theo Cabango, there seems to be too much space there. Apart from that, Ulster seem to be dealing with them well.
Let's go, lads.
It's always a difficulty when you play someone on the wing who's not a winger, and you know, it's difficult to defend on the wing. It's not like when you're in attack and you're fast, you're agile, you're beating defenders. It can be a lonely place on the wing defending. Something my friend and old colleague Andrew Trimble did so well.
Crouch. Bind.
That's where he's finding himself more often than not these days, Mikey Lowry. That's good from Ulster. Wheeling around now. It's going to be a reset.
Same scrum. Same as the first, yeah. Same as first off. Yep.
Lots of change, of course, in personnel there. Almost all fresh in off the bench.
Okay, let's go, lads. Quick,
it always looked like a good Ulster bench. Cooney, Burns.
Keep it square.
Lots of experience added to the youth of the likes of Cormac Izuchukwu and others, but particularly at 9 and 10.
That's right. Cormac Izuchukwu, big guy, very athletic, strong, fast. A real athlete. Would like to see him get more game time. Dan didn't seem to favour him too much. I hope Richie does.
So off go Ulster. Urgency about the attack, and lovely step off his right from Ethan McElroy, gliding over the turf. Again, the Cardiff player was in a decent position over the ball. I venture to say it was probably Ellis Jenkins in that position. So good at the jackal. Didn't get rights to the ball, didn't get his hands on. And now it's a real scrap for it. And Ulster come out on the right side of the ledger in the eyes of the referee.
Counter up around the side.
No. I think John's going to have a pop.
Okay, let's go. What we did? What's called?
Doesn't lack any confidence, does he, Connor?
Shot called. Send on the tee, and here it comes.
Send on the tee by one of the funniest men you'll ever meet, David Shanahan. Even when he retires, they should still give him a job at Ulster just to keep the spirits high. Not sure what his title would be, but I'm sure we can work something out.
He's quite an important man these days then, with so much going on in the background, just to keep morale up.
Absolutely, because, you know, the ripple effect of it onto the pitch. Happy players, guys who are enjoying themselves, play their best rugby.
And this would go a long way to lifting spirits. Beautiful strike from John Cooney, and now is noise and energy and a sense of belief around the Kingspan in Belfast that we haven't witnessed as of yet this evening. That's a lovely strike.
Yeah, we just told you, just
Lovely strike. Such a good goal kicker. So many times he's got us out of big problems in games, whether they're match winners or even times like this, to get ahead.
Alan O'Connor has gone off meantime. Cormac Izuchukwu has come in, and a change also in the second row. A change in kind. Rory Thornton is in for Teddy Williams.
6.
Reece Carey on as well. Cardiff's top try scorer, believe it or not. Both teams' top try scorers are the front row. Can you believe it?
So through gritted teeth by the man to my right-hand side. Rhys Carey, who's bound back for a familiar road back to Saracens at the end of the season. 6 tries this campaign is right. 16 points to 14. Ulster lead for the first time in the game as we approach the last 13 or 14 minutes. It hasn't been pretty. At times Ulster's attack has looked a little bit stagnant, lacking in cohesion and coordination and any kind of rhythm, but it won't matter if John Cooney can kick his penalties. He might have to kick a few more if Thomas Young can find a burst of pace to get to the try line. Oh, the outstretched boot denies Cardiff, and that is a massive defensive intervention right in the corner down below us here to deny Cardiff the lead in kind again.
Oh my goodness. What a fight from Cormac Ezechukwu. What timing as well, just as I was bigging him up. That is unbelievable. Something like that. It's a game changer, it's a season changer. Awesome work from Cormac Ezechukwu.
Just as Thomas Young reached out that right arm to place the ball over the try line, the trail foot denied him. Ulster in position over the ball, but they don't have hands on. Tinas de Beer beat them. He's been busy this evening. Busy stopping him is John Andrew. Oh, not really a good pillar defender for Ulster here, and Cardiff, whereas Bertrano is looking for the support. Just tried to buy his team a second or two. Here he is back in position at the base of that ruck again, and Cardiff, every time they've been punctured and put on the back foot, they've come up with something, and here they come again with Rhys Carey. Centre of the pitch, options left and right. Ben Thomas opts to keep ball in hand, tackled by Postlethwaite. Ellis Jenkins in the thick of it. Bertrano in position. So too Tinas de Beer. Mason Grady likewise. Ben Donnell. Bertrano again. Cardiff's tight 5 forwards, both those that started the game and those that have come in off the bench, have carried exceptionally well this evening, asking all kinds of questions in terms of physicality and meters through contact, refusing to die with the ball. And Belcher, as Craig was saying, has had a super game. Tinas de Beer now, options a little lighter on this side. Effective though from Josh Adams. Now then, have Ulster managed to get in there and turn it over? Mike Adamson sees it otherwise, and that's a Cardiff penalty straight in front of the sticks.
Risky when you're in kicking distance, you know, especially when, you know, there's only 2 points in it. Just going back to Thomas Young's no try, as happy as I am for Cormac Ezechukwu, and what a fight from him to keep him out, to keep Thomas Young out. On the flip side of that, if I was a Cardiff player, you know, he's absolutely butchered that, hasn't he? You know, you'd like to think he'd score that 9 times out of 10, but hats off to Cormac Ezechukwu.
He just could not legislate for the swinging boot that dislodged the ball. Denied 5, potentially 7. Can they get 3 back here and wrestle back the lead from this Ulster side inside the final 10 minutes?
Going, but it's not fast, quick ball. It's not fast. Yeah, it just needs to be quick. If it's quick ball and they're slowing it down, I'm just not seeing it.
Big pressure moment, albeit straight in front of the post, but the Cardiff stats off the kicking tee this season haven't been great. So with that in mind, that's a very, very valuable 3 points.
It's an interesting stat, that, Conor, the lowest percentage of the kicking stats in the league, yet he's kicked so well tonight, and Tinas de Beer is 3rd highest point scorer in the league. So it's 2 interesting stats that don't don't really add up, but he's done well tonight. Cardiff have certainly come here to play.
Okay, use.
Just looking down, and Greg Jones has come in, and I also see Tom O'Toole out there. So Richie Murphy unloading the bench. Collected and taken by Mike Lowry. Jacob Stockdale not held in the tackle. Post-contact meters aplenty there, 5 or 6 of them on the roll on the 5G surface. Now then, a little bit of front door option again from Ulster. It's been a massive game for Harry Sheridan in that second row this evening. He's carried brilliantly. It's been a real nuisance for Cardiff. 1 point game again, as it has been 3 or 4 times this evening, as it was at half time in favour of Cardiff. 10 each in terms of the second half scoring rate, but this looks promising from an Ulster point of view. A little bit light on numbers, wide on the left-hand side. Cardiff in over the ball. It's Ellis Jenkins. There's only one result there. He's so good in that department.
So good over the ball. Mike Adamson almost wanted to give us the benefit of the doubt there, but he was just so locked on.
We're playing on, let's go.
There's no getting away from that.
The initial tackle from Ben Thomas, and then he chooses his moment to pounce.
Starting to feel quite tense now, Connor. 1 point
Ulster
in it.
Just on the edge of the white.
Just over 6 minutes to go.
Every decision is huge, and just looking at that replay again, Ellis Jenkins initially hands seemed to go to the turf to steady himself, but all academic. These are the fine margins. You've got to play your luck on what's in front of you. Belcher, it's a little untidy, and then tidied up by Thomas Young and into the hands of Mackenzie Martin. Lots of height on that to test Jacob Stockdale, and he came onto it really well. Brilliant take. Postlethwaite to Lowry. Addison. That's better from Ulster. Now Postlethwaite, showing his athletic ability, opens the shoulders, pumps the legs. Andrew. Options wide here. Jones did well to delay the pass in the end. Big hit coming in on Harry Sheridan after the pass was released. Stockdale. Slower ball now for Cooney to try and work off. And again, the go-to is Harry Sheridan. Carry stats off the charts. Postlethwaite to Lowry once more. 5 minutes to go. We're at the Kingspan. The crowd sensing huge minutes in the context of the season. Cardiff player in the way, and it's gone forward off an Ulster hand. And that old bugbear, it was a virus in the first half. The handing errors has come back to haunt Ulster again.
Okay.
It's come back, hasn't it, Connor? But hopefully it's not too late. There's still 5 minutes to play. What a take from Jacob Stockdale when he has really not been at his best in the air this match. You know, some of those balls he would have caught when he was probably 12 years old. He should be catching them, and easy catches that he's dropped. But then he pulls out one like that, and there's about 3 Cardiff guys around him, and he's managed to take it, and that started the momentum for Jude Postlethwaite's break. And as you say, unfortunately, it's just another handling error.
Liam Belcher is off. Evan Lloyd comes in.
Keep the space.
So the last remaining change
Nothing
in that
early,
Cardiff front
back.
row.
Just keep the space, lads. Don't overload. Nice and controlled.
Hard to underestimate the sense of importance and achievement potentially here for Cardiff. Remember, they haven't won a game against an Irish province on Irish soil since they beat Connacht down at the Sports Ground in Galway in 2017. So 6.5, nearly 7 years ago. They haven't won here, as we said, since 2010. They haven't won any of their last 7 matches. 5 straight defeats in the URC puts them roughly on their worst run of 4 in this competition for 9 years. And yet here they are, 4.5 minutes away from victory against Ulster. which would leave Richie Murphy's side in real bother in terms of their quest for a top 8. Benetton to come next week.
He looked a bit high from this side, the wrong side of Mike Adamson. Not sure if the touch judge picked it up.
David McCann scragged and taken to ground and then picked up quickly by Postlethwaite, who's come into the game more in the second half. Loose from Sheridan, he had to improvise. That's good from Stockdale, showing his class and his guile, and then his strength to bounce off the tackle from Josh Adams. Sheridan again, and they get it wide via Burns and Andrew into the hands of Will Addison. Cooney, oh, he's trying to work something on that short side. Was that a deliberate knock on? Cardiff hand in there. Just a knock, I think at the moment, is the decision of Mike Adamson. Breathless, quick, frantic and frenetic. Is there a line break? And Ethan McElroy, great tackle. Over the ball again, Jenkins.
Okay, advantage over for the knock-on.
No penalty, it was just a knock-on. Jenkins couldn't get his hands on it. There's that man, Izichukwu. He's run some lovely lines tonight, Will Addison. Hasn't quite got huge payoff from them yet in terms of a searing line break to open up the space. And Lowry. Cooney waits, and here come Ulster again. 78th minute of the contest, a point in arrears. Now Stockdale. Big gamble from Beetham, Jacob Beetham, quickly out of the line to try and smash into Stockdale. Came off second best, albeit Stockdale a little bit gingerly back to his feet now. Centre of the pitch, Postlethwaite. He's had a really strong second half. Oh, short line on here from McElroy. Doesn't work out from an Ulster point of view. They knock it on, and now Cardiff full of running. Ball thumped downfield, and it's a 3-on-1 chase here. Options on that short side. Bertrano's got Cabango outside. Theo Cabango for the corner to win it. Surely for Cardiff. The hat-trick try. That surely means a first Belfast victory for Cardiff in 14 years. I'm pretty sure we'll check it upstairs, but Cardiff will feel that they have snatched victory here.
It's a real kick in the teeth. I mean, as far as the Cardiff players go, he's done so well, Theo Cabango. Mike Adamson is just checking something here.
Again, it's off turnover, isn't it? And a knock-on from Ulster when you thought McElroy might be through. And that's what we will have to assess and adjudicate with Andrew McMenemy, the TMO.
Good awareness from Tinas De Beer to see the space in behind. Look at that, just a walk.
We'll take our time.
And a brilliant pickup from De Beer then at the other end, and there's only ever one outcome once it goes into the hands of Cabango.
We're taking our time, but just give us space, please. If you just go and stand behind the line.
Does that go forward off Reece Carey?
It's hard to see. Perfectly honest, if I'm honest with you, Conor, I don't think so.
Okay. First. Yeah.
Okay, so it's now going to be an official review.
So reviewing that, so tell me it clearly comes off the reserve Loosehead's hand.
Okay, so
Reece Carey, so it'll be a penalty for deliberate knock-on.
So Cardiff will have felt they'd won the game. The try is going to be chalked off. We'll go all the way back down the other end of the field.
It's an act of foul play.
And John Cooney will have a penalty to win the game for Ulster.
I think it was like one face.
What a turn of events.
Touch hand.
Wow.
It's a deliberate knock on.
Ladies and gentlemen, get back in your seats.
Yeah.
That is a season changer, game changer, huge moment. No try, no hat-trick, no victory.
Yeah, but no. It's clearly gone forward. And then it's
And
gone
the
forward
game
from
is
them.
flipped
For
on
me,
its
there's a
head here.
potential line break as well. That's what it's saying. Okay, what's your decision?
And a yellow card to boot, to add insult
Yeah. Okay, post
to
called
injury
and
for
time on.
Rhys Carey. Posts called is the decision. Once again, John Cooney saddled with
60
the
seconds,
sizable
so
burden
just on the blue, on the red.
on those
Red one, yeah.
shoulders of his to split the uprights and potentially, who knows, win the game for Ulster to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Well, whatever happens now, what a dramatic finish.
I'm not sure he grounded it over there as well. I think we're gonna check that.
Cool as a breeze. John Cooney kicks Ulster to the threshold of victory when it seems certain their season had been torn asunder by Cardiff. What a turnaround here.
I'm going to have to unfollow his Instagram kicking account now, Connor. I'll never hear the end of it. What a super kick. Again, I know it's right in front of the post, it's his bread and butter, but you still have to do it. That could be the winning of this game.
Tackle Cardiff!
19-17, Cardiff down to 14, 10 seconds. Stadium clock says it's game over. Match clock says otherwise. Do they need a phase? They need the ball, they need a couple of seconds. Cooney, the hero, kicks it off, dispatches it into the stands. Mike Adamson sounds the whistle, and Ulster have beaten Cardiff somehow.
Can you believe it? What a finish. I mean, Cardiff have to feel somewhat hard done by, but from an Ulster point of view and an Ulster fan, I'm delighted they got the win. At this stage in the season, with everything that's happened on the field, off the field, I'm glad they got the win, and I look forward to being back at home again next week.
Well, it keeps the season alive somehow from an Ulster point of view. It really is the story of Cardiff's season, and you have to feel that they will feel extremely unfortunate. They'll feel hard done by, gut-wrenching defeat. They thought they'd won it with that hat-trick of tries from Pio Cabango, chalked off by the TMO on review for a deliberate knock-on from Rhys Carey. Harry Sheridan, I'm certain that every Ulster fan will agree with that decision. He was immense this evening. And really, when you're in the hole, when you have to stop digging, it doesn't matter how you get yourselves out of it. Ultimately, Ulster have managed somehow, well, through the boot of John Cooney, to do that tonight. His penalty decisive. Ulster win it in Belfast on a margin of 19 points to 17.